Hey, welcome to this episode of IndustrialSage. We're in the beautiful studios of Optimum Productions, and today we're going to be talking about best practices for putting video in your emails. Now, at the top of the year, which was only, 2 weeks ago, we released a video on the top tactics for 2018 that you want to consider for your digital marketing strategies. Now, video was a really big part of it, so we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about these different video topics on how to really maximize your benefits and the value out of it. Now, email marketing is really, really strong. And now, I know sometimes people may think, it's not as strong as it was because people get flooded and the open rates aren't there. Well, by using video inside email, you're gonna really see a much higher success rate. You're gonna see higher open rates, higher click-through rates, engagement. And here's a couple things that you can do to really make sure you can maximize that value and get more value for it. So, and these are honestly lifted out of a webinar that we did on how to use video in the sales process. It's something I highly recommend. We'll put a link where you can click on it and you can access it. This is just kind of like a little snippet of the bigger piece. So after this, if you want to learn a little bit more, go to that. It's full of a lot of information. It goes for like 40 minutes and it's awesome. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is it's kind of mechanical, and it's how do we actually get a video inside an email? How do we do that? That's probably one of the biggest questions that we get asked. Do you basically take a video file and do you just upload it to an email and then send it to everybody? No, that's not what you want to do. Video files are really, really big. They could be hundreds of megabytes, especially when you have really high quality videos. You don't want to do that. That's going to get blocked by a corporate filter or something. So best practice is to take that video and have it uploaded to your website or a landing page, and you can use YouTube or Vimeo or a private hosted video player. You can even embed it directly up to your website if a lot of these, like WordPress or Joomla or any of these other websites have the ability for you to upload and play that. One thing that you do not want to do is put it up like on a YouTube or Vimeo and then drive people to that page that is off of your website. In other words, you have the ability to take like a YouTube video, for example, and embed that on your website. You want to do that. Why? Because you spent all this time putting together this great looking content, putting this email, building this email list, and the last thing you want to do is send an email to, let's say you have 2,000 people on your list. And say, hey, look, go somewhere else that's not part of our website, and you're going to be competing with your competitors' videos. You're going to be competing with cat videos on there, and there's a good chance that you've just sent your audience like way over here. So don't do that. Make sure that you upload it. It's on your website or a landing page that is yours, and that's one of the best practices that you're going to be able to really get a lot of value out of. Now, one other little trick that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to be able to put a thumbnail inside that email so that helps to kind of drive that viewer to get an understanding of what that content is in there. There's a video there, so you want to put a little thumbnail. So thumbnail essentially is basically just a static image. It's a still image. It has a play button. Make sure you have a play button on there, and make sure it's really engaging. Now, what's engaging? Well, it's super subjective. It's going to really depend on your viewers, so you might want to test that out. So if you have you could have a picture of somebody smiling, or maybe it's a picture of something really funny that relates to that video. Test that out. You can do some A/B testing. A really great way of doing that is being able to segment your email and say, okay, we're going to send the same video to everybody, but a different thumbnail. So here's a group of 1,000, they're gonna get this thumbnail, another group of that 1,000 are gonna get that thumbnail. And you can kind of see and test the results and see what kind of experience you get. You're gonna see someone's gonna have higher click-through rates, one over the other. Make sure you try to isolate those variables so that you can really get a true and accurate reading on what thumbnail is performing best. And once you have that data, then make sure you replicate that in all your future videos so that you can really continually to optimize and make your open rates and click-through rates a lot higher. So make sure you have a good thumbnail in there. And another tactic that you're going to want to do, this is actually, I've got a little note here, this is going to help boost your open rates by 19% and your click-through rates by 65%. And it's super simple. And it is making sure that you put in the word video somewhere in your subject line. Now, we all know with email that subject lines are super, super important. So you don't want to be super long, you want to keep it short, but make sure somewhere that video is in the subject line, because what happens is when that email comes through, You all know, you get flooded by emails every single day. If a little video or an email comes in and it shows video in the subject line, there's a higher chance they're going to watch that because, at the end of the day, people don't read as much. They want to watch. So when they see that in there, they'll say, oh, wow, this is interesting. There's a video in here. Cool. Higher chance. And the stats are, what is it here? 90% booster open rate and 65% click-through rate. So you want to do that and to make sure that you can get more value out of that video. And last but not least, one thing that I highly recommend is making sure you use some sort of analytics platform that can tell you really, really deep information about what's going on in that video. So unfortunately, players like YouTube and Vimeo don't have really detailed analytics. They will tell you how many views you've had, which is great. So let's say you have, 500 views. Awesome. Can you tell me out of those 500 views, on average, are people watching 90% of that video, or are they watching 1%, or 5%, or 20, or 30, or 40? That's really important information. So making sure you have a video player that can give you those kind of analytics is really, really important. It's going to be able to help to drive more value in your video marketing campaign, and you're going to be able to learn a lot more about your audience. It's kind of like getting a little bit of temperature gauge about what they're interested in or not, because you may be able to find areas that they're rewatching, which may give you insights into, hey, in this section of the video, we're seeing a lot of people rewatching an area about safety. We didn't think that was a big deal, but apparently we need to create some more content around there. So it's a really, really great way of getting feedback from your audience without having to send them a survey or something like that. So anyways, these are a couple quick little tips that are going to really help maximize your value of using video in your email campaign. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more, like I said, we've got the great webinar. It's on demand. You can go check it out right now. It's how to really use video in the sales process. It's an awesome, awesome, awesome tool. I highly recommend it. There's links you can click on it and take a look at it. And as always, hey, thanks for watching this episode. If there's any particular questions you have, you can reach out to us at IndustrialSage.com/questions. We'd love to answer them for you. As always, please share this content with your friends, colleagues, assorted relatives, anybody who would find it valuable. And if last but not least, please share it, like it, and if you're listening to us on iTunes, we'd love a review. So until next week, thanks for watching.